mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
I woke up, then I logged in to that Urban X where they be flexing with that blog in. Put it down, cause my little homie called in. Had to bail him out, he in trouble with the law again. Black skin can't win in the white world. Seen a brother kill his own kid for that white girl. We ain't wanna go to school, but we had to. Every February it was scary in them classrooms. Shimmy y'all, shimmy yay. Old dirty bastards can't own dirty slaves, so they own dirty masters. Black Dot found a pot as a youngin', broke it down for his son, and now he serve it to the masses.
Black mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mask, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
Urban excellence, a product of my residence. From 40 to 44, Obama was the president. I told mama I ain't trying to go to church. I'm like Adam, every Adam is a product of the dirt. And I've been reaping what he sowed. I got the product, got the dirt. And I can teach you what I know, but then you gotta put in work. You in trouble if you waiting on the government. I told my bro I make it out the hood, and that's a covenant.
Peace. Welcome back to another episode of the Urban X Podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. #1 father and son podcast on the planet.
On the planet.
Infinite plane, flat surface.
All that round ball spinning with water on it.
All
you
of that.
name it.
All of
it
that.
is us.
Yeah, we're here. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys had an amazing week.
Yes.
It's been a long week.
Yes.
For us, but we're here.
But we are here. We are in the building. We are in effect. We are ready to go. This whole thing is popping.
Yes. Shouts out to you guys for being here, man.
Always.
Shouts out to y'all for being here. We're gonna do a quick roll call.
Yes.
Then we're gonna get to it. I saw Detroit in the building, Dominican Republic in the building.
Wow. Okay.
Albany in the building, Boston.
Boston's in the building.
Mobile, Alabama.
Brooklyn in the house.
Bahamas, Maryland.
Orangeburg. All right. That's my hometown. Orangeburg.
Thank y'all for joining. Athens,
Dallas. BX. All day.
Naptown, Brooklyn,
Clearwater,
Chi-Town,
Wilmington, Delaware,
Arizona. Thank y'all.
Stanford.
So, how was your week? I know how your week was, but how, like, for the people?
Always, when you're alive and you're breathing, I got to see a surprise visit from Noble popped up on me.
Yes.
That's always great, you know what I mean, to get some of that Pampar time in, especially the unexpected time. Still recovering from a rib injury. You know what I'm saying?
As a result of just being old, man.
As a result of just being old, man.
Yeah.
And
there was a football player that got carted off the field, and they was like, "How are you gonna be?" He said, "I'm just old, man."
yeah, you know, and so these things, they don't heal as fast. And it was in a weird spot. So when you cough, when you laugh, when you breathe, people who've had this injury, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so I'm just starting to turn the corner today. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else has been well. Slow news week.
Well, definitely today. Definitely.
Yeah, not
since
a lot
Monday.
going on since Monday.
Because over the weekend it was a lot. Like, it was a lot happening over the weekend. But this week.
Very slow. Very slow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're gonna make $1 out of 15 cents, so to
Absolutely.
speak. But we do have Obar coming on.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Obar will be in the building. Breaking some things down for us. Because his classes are up.
Yes, if you're a member and you have access, you do have access to our Urban X University master classes.
Yes.
Obar's class is in there, ready. And he threw some bonus lessons in there for you as well.
He threw some bonus hip-hop lessons and some other stuff in there, you know what I'm saying, which you're going to be able to gobble up.
Yeah.
And so we'll bring Omar through, after the second break, so stay tuned. But I want to make a quick announcement. Today is Marcus Garvey's. Well, first of all, if you FBA, cover your ears.
Because he was a failure. I'm joking, because that is a lot of the rhetoric that I'm hearing.
Cover your ears if you FBA, but it's Marcus Garvey's birthday.
Absolutely.
And so as a result of that, tomorrow there is an event that's going to be taking place, and it's going to be streamed live, and it's going to be about the celebration of his life, his times, his work.
Yes, it's happening in LA. If you're in the LA area,
yes,
from 7 to 10 p.m. At the
LA
holiday
time. So
yes,
that's like 10 p.m. Eastern time, but it will be streamed.
Yes, it will be streamed. The link is in the description below if you want to stream it. At the Holiday Inn, Los Angeles, at LAX Airport. So yeah, tune into that. You log in, you create an account, and you'll be able to watch it from anywhere in the world, that you are. And so Marcus Garvey celebration tomorrow, Lifetimes. The link is in the description.
It's in the description. We're gonna put it in the chat too.
Yeah.
We'll put the link in the chat as well, and so you can kind of, at your own discretion, get in there, and you're home relaxing on some leisure time tomorrow. You get to catch up on what Marcus Garvey's contributions were early on, and some of the things he went through to try to get us to connect back to a landmass.
Yes, I put it also in the chat as well.
Yes.
The link is also in the chat. I'm going to pin it for you guys as well.
We'll pin it. Say it again. Oh, yeah, we want to thank Sister T for providing that information for us. And so now our listeners can be educated on some of the people who have put that work in.
Menace to Society said, long-time listener, new member as of yesterday, first live show. Appreciate everything y'all do. Thank you. And welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate everybody logging in.
Yes.
To give us their time and their energy for what it is that we do here.
And Saturday, new exclusive episode is going up.
Saturday, a new exclusive episode is going up. I think this one is really good.
I really, really enjoyed this one. I think people will appreciate it.
Yeah. I think people will appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? We're keeping them coming as they generically or organically.
Yes, absolutely.
Come about and happen, as opposed to trying to reach a deadline and we weaken the whole purpose of it. And so it is to show another side of what we do, a more loose, laid back, relaxed, but intense side to what it is that we do. This one was a little personal.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I hope that you will enjoy it.
Saturday morning or evening, Saturday.
Yeah, all depending on how Mama Dot is feeling.
Saturday. But again, you will get the email links.
Yes.
You will get the links in the membership and in the community section as well.
We're building a very nice membership for $5.
And I'm proud of it. You know what I mean?
I am proud of it as well.
I'm really proud of it. We got classic interviews. We got extra after shows from us. We got exclusives. Hundreds of hours of content in there already.
The Real Mentality.
Real Mentality is in there. We got some more of that coming.
And we have the morning meetup for October 1. Not to jump too far ahead, but that's also only going to be for members.
Yes.
And so
with the planners,
we have a lot of stuff coming for you guys. Now the planners, you can just buy. You don't have to be a member to buy that. You can just buy. But it works in conjunction with the morning meetup and stuff that we here at Urban X are doing.
All right, so let's get to some stuff, man.
Let's get to some stuff, man.
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
And before we go forward, thank you to the super chats.
Yes, coming in. Thank you for the super
Maestro,
chats.
Fresh West, and King Diaz. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So, we wanted to come back to talk about this fire in Maui. right? Because
Yes.
every day more and more information is coming. I'm seeing more reports from people. I'm seeing more just weird reports from people. I'm seeing more weird photographs, weird videos of really, really precise fires.
Yes.
You know, really, like, the fire was cognizant not to hit trees.
Yes.
It was real, just like, it was considerate. Like, you know,
Yes.
beautiful agriculture in Hawaii. It was like, we don't want to mess that up.
Absolutely.
We just want to mess up these houses that belong to the native people.
And these people.
Right, not the rich people, though.
Not the rich people, of course.
Not the rich people. And then I saw reports that the state will buy back some of this land that was destroyed during the fire. I saw the governor come out and say something about he's not letting BlackRock come in and buy up any land. Not that I think he has a choice in the matter.
No, he doesn't have a choice. And BlackRock comes in so many different names.
Exactly.
So it can come as BlackRock or Rock Black or
Yeah.
Gray Rock or Gray Moon or Gray
Zillow.
Stone or Zillow or so many other companies that
Yeah.
are owned by it. So that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. So that's happening. A lot more information is coming about like what was actually happening. Apparently, water was turned off when people were dousing their houses in water when their house was on fire. The water was completely shut off. And what I'm also reading is that the person who's in charge of the water is also on Obama's foundation board.
Wow. And as you mentioned, when we first started talking about the story, the sheriff
Yes.
is the same sheriff
From the Las Vegas shooting.
from the Las Vegas
Same
shooting.
Same players, man.
What are the chances of this? Oprah Winfrey only owned 100 acres of land.
1,000.
No. Now she owns 1,000. But prior to last year or this March, when she bought an additional 870 acres. Prior to that, she only owned 100.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people have luxury hotels there already. Morgan Freeman, Oprah, a bunch of people. Jennifer Lopez, I believe, a few people. And they were fine. Their hotels were fine. Now Oprah owns 1,000 or roughly 1,000 acres of the land. They denied her an opportunity to even get out and help her. She made it in anyway and was seen handing out pillows. This thing is getting weirder by the minute. When Mountain Dew releases...
Oh, time out. Not even Mountain Dew. Can we talk about the Amazon book?
Oh, yes. Talk about the Amazon.
There's an Amazon book that was listed on Amazon like days before this happened, and it's supposed to be detailing the fire on Maui.
How the hell...
How it happened.
Is that humanly possible?
How it's connected to climate change. Because I don't know if you realize what's happening yet, guys, as far as the national narrative, right, or the global narrative, that climate change is the next thing that we as a planet have to fight. Now, I saw a funny tweet, and it was saying, like, what it was a pie graph, right? And it was like what I'm worried about, and it was like totalitarianism and climate change, and he was only worried about totalitarianism, and I was like, listen, they're both the same thing.
Yeah.
Like if you follow the money enough, they're both the same thing. Right, so climate change is one of the ways that is ushering in a lot of new policies that they're trying to, with the banning of gas stoves, the banning of gas cars,
Yes.
things like that. So they're trying to move us in a direction, and they're going, you got to care about the planet,
Absolutely.
right? So this fire happened, and when we initially we talked about this 2 shows ago, right? When it initially happened, you asked her, how did the fire start? I said, I don't know. It didn't say. Right? A fire that got that out of control, like, I don't know. And then now it's saying, oh, it's wildfire. And I hope you guys understand how serious climate change is now because of these wildfires. And just like when COVID happened, when the pandemic and stuff, happened, we had an invisible enemy that we can all rally around, that we can all place everybody's fear and guilt and shame.
Absolutely.
We do this for each other, so climate change is the new thing.
Okay, Villains Creep said the book was written by AI. That was my first thought as well.
Okay.
Because it could generate the book very fast. But if it was listed before the event happened...
That's what I saw.
How can the AI know that this is going to happen. Now, if it happened and then you went to AI, but even I'm not even sure Amazon will allow you to list the book that fast. So I'm not really sure all the particulars. But I'm with you on that. I kind of said this may be an AI thing since AI is cranking out books so fast.
It's true too.
But the Mountain Dew.
The Maui Mountain
The
Dew.
Maui Mountain Dew with the term dew. Remember, direct energy weapon. Dew. Right? So remember, these things are always coded. That was the first thing. When I heard the direct energy weapon, I'm trained in my mind to look at the acronym. I said dew, and to see mountain, right? Because the first they said this came from the mountain and the dew of it with Maui in the name. Listen, you have to take everything in consideration because there's synchronicity or ways that they speak to each other during these weird times. I'm also hearing that the natives of this particular land spoke about the mountains and alien interaction, or they have connection with these orbs, and these orbs kind of said that they would return at a specific time, and that this land, so some people are thinking they're clearing this specific land and making it a high frequency city, and so that these orbs can have a place to reside, because you're still talking about energy. And so it's a lot going on in this town, and the people are starting to speak, and $700, and Biden saying we are laser focused.
That was
and again,
crazy.
just toying with us.
You know what? And this is a quick plug for the membership. You dropped a line in that last exclusive that literally blew my mind. It literally blew my mind.
Okay.
And it's like, and at this point, it shouldn't, but it did, and it goes along the lines of them toying with us out in the open.
Yes.
It literally blew my mind. So y'all really, really got to go check it when it drops. So I'll send you guys the link.
And so we want to send our condolences out, because these are native people, the most ancient people on that island, and obviously it's something rich with that island for them to do that, and for bodies to disintegrate.
That's
to the point where they can't even identify them.
Guys say we're not going to be able to identify.
And there are people who work in the morgue and say, I dealt with burn victims. That's almost impossible. You know what I mean? So what they're doing and how they're doing this now at an accelerated... Meanwhile, we're out partying, celebrating 50th hip-hop, and everybody's out dancing and having a great time and celebrating and this and that. Meanwhile, there are things going on around us, weather technology, bricks, financial things going on. Peru, they got these alien entities who are snatching faces off of the Peruvian people.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So the Peruvian people, a 15-year-old girl was supposedly held captive by these beings who tried to rip her face off or something, and she escaped. And so they're thinking they're just dealing with hostile individuals, and they go into the the Peruvian jungle and encounter these beings.
There was I don't know if it was Peru. I spoke about the documentary on here before about the alien landing that happened in so-called like broad daylight. A bunch of witnesses saw it.
Yes.
And it smelled in the town, and a military police officer touched it, died later.
Yes.
Very quickly from that. I don't know if it was in Peru or Brazil. It might have been Brazil.
So this is something very similar going on, or at least the people in Peru are reporting this. Now, again, this could be your government just doing wild stuff. But it's a lot going on while we're dancing and shaking our ass. As usual, there's a lot going on that we have to be aware of and keep our eye on. So kind of revisiting who benefits.
Yes.
Follow the money. Who's going to benefit? The answers to this question will be revealed to you in probably a year's time.
Yeah.
When they rebuild the city and rebuild this.
Who gets the contract to rebuild the city?
Who gets the contract? You'll begin to know who owns this, and what the whole purpose is.
I'm also seeing a lot of Biden voters come out in defense of Biden's giving $700 per per resident on the island, because apparently it was a TikTok that went viral and he went off. Like, he was saying, like, you guys are so stupid and blah blah blah, because Biden is providing FEMA, he's providing 10,000 blankets and beds and stuff like that, and $700 is what is permitted by Congress. That's only how much he can do. And then, like, my pushback would be what you just said, because he said, like, that's all in his power because Congress is one that signs off on these numbers, and we're like, so it doesn't compare with Ukraine. So if Congress is able to give the final okay for money, then that means they're giving the final okay for how much money goes to Ukraine. So that means something is wrong here.
That means that we're out of balance here.
That means something. Just
the math ain't
I don't care
mathing.
who you vote for. That means something is wrong.
The math ain't mathing. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
means, like, we're giving how much money to Ukraine? We've given more money to Ukraine than every European nation combined.
Wow.
We're not even over there.
Wow.
Right? And then the guy, he went on to say, like, what are we supposed to do? Just let Russia invade? Russia didn't invade. Like, it was listen.
The language.
The language, and I want people to stop getting caught up on the news station narratives. You get what I'm saying? Like, look at what's happened. There's a cause and effect to all of this stuff, especially politically, like globally, and things like that. Also, real quick, I made a mistake last episode. God corrected me in the comments because I said ivermectin was a Global Peace Prize winning. It was just a Nobel Peace Prize winning. It was just a Nobel Prize winning.
Okay.
So he got caught up in this, and I was wrong. You're right.
Okay.
My fault.
Fair enough.
My fault. Fair enough.
Fair
You got
enough.
me.
I listen
me.
to everybody in my comment section. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to tell you.
You got me.
Because sometimes we're just sharing information as we get it.
Yeah.
And, so no, that goes without saying. I appreciate the correct information because that's the one thing we want to deliver is the correct information, especially for something of that magnitude.
Yeah, so, this Maui thing is...
It's worth paying attention to, man.
Yeah, it's... like
because we saw similar things happen in supposedly Canada and other places. Something similar where we just couldn't explain the red dust. And
you know what the thing is too, because
Hawaii is the 50th state. Rapper Magoo died at age 50 during the 50th. And listen, I appreciate that because even if it's no connection, it is a connection. It's something that you're supposed to go,
Yeah.
That's right. Hawaii is the 50th state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Magoo did die at 50 during the 50th anniversary. Could be something, could be nothing. We don't throw nothing out when we're examining because these people are mathematically complex in how they lay this thing out.
And this is what I would say too, because somebody always say, how come everything has to be a conspiracy theory? How come it just couldn't be a fire? And very true, very true. Like, okay, let's take that. Mm-hmm. But when regular fires happen, we don't see conflicting reports from the people on the ground. We don't hear just like weird stuff about I couldn't get in. The water was turned off.
The kids were not allowed to go to school that day for some strange reason.
School was canceled.
School was canceled.
Yep.
So listen, the problem with most people, in my humble opinion, they get lazy when it comes time to think and do critical thinking, and so it's easier to just say, dude, what did the news say?
Right.
But in this time, everything must be examined, especially because information is no longer lacking. Now, there was a time when we really had to pull our shoulders out because we weren't getting enough information. Right. We don't have to do that anymore. The people on the ground there are telling you. And then you see the pictures and you see it moving around certain trees, and that is humanly impossible. Not even a 4-year-old would believe that. And so you can believe your eyes or you can believe what the news is telling you. And people are having a hard time accepting that this is not what you think it is. That is it. So we get labeled as conspiracy theorists because we don't believe our government. That's all. We don't believe the story they're telling us.
And why would
we
you?
believe they're lying. We believe they've been lying. We believe they're going to continue to lie. But now we are armed with something we weren't armed with before. The people on the ground with cell phones, with information, sharing information at lightning speeds, even through social media apparatuses that they try to plug up the holes. They can't plug all the holes up. And so, and then are you going to tell me that, what are the odds that the crisis guy or the sheriff from a crisis across the world in Las Vegas winds up here doing the same thing? If that is not at minimum enough for you to raise an eyebrow, you gotta go. Come on.
And that's it. Like
That's it.
I really just don't. Shouldn't Obama be saying something to us? Yeah, he should.
Yeah, he should.
Listen, and like I said, I really, like you said, we just suffer from just not believing our government.
Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because when you find out, and you know my method, once I find out that there's something off, then it opens up a can of worms, and you got to keep going, and it's easy to just turn your TV on, enjoy the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, go get a cheeseburger, and mind your business. You know what I mean? But it's hard to go, I got to investigate this, even if I'm not investigating it for me, so that we can have a back-and-forth conversation and figure out what we're doing, because that's how we get out of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
A smart fire. Right. I bet it is a goddamn smart fire.
Another news, so another correction. We've previously reported that Tyler Perry was buying BET. That's what I saw. That's what I read.
No, and the Shade Room.
Yeah,
a
bunch of people,
so-called reputable places.
We didn't just call it Shade Room reputable, did we?
Well, I'm just saying, you know. A few places.
Yeah, I get it.
That you know, you figure they got their stuff together, and we reported that was pretty much a done deal.
It wasn't.
And it was not a done deal, because now that deal is off the table.
Yeah, Paramount, which owns BET, notified Tyler Perry, Byron Allen, and Diddy, because you know that they will no longer be selling BET
because they wanted $3 billion. And the most I believe Tyler Perry could raise was $2 billion.
I don't think BET is worth
It's
$2
not.
billion.
I think that was a ploy to get more black people to start watching it again. And that's probably what happened, because it's no way a goddamn TV network, when everybody's on social media, among other things, is worth, $3 billion.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
I don't believe it. And so... no telling what the ploy was with that, but the good thing about it is we won't get 50 Tyler Perry shows.
That's a fact.
That's right, no disrespect. God damn, I was about to say, God damn.
That is a fact.
Tyler Perry after Tyler Perry after Tyler Perry.
Written, produced,
starring.
Casted by.
Casted, the vision, all kind of shit. So at least we won't get
Dressed
that.
by, like, God damn.
At least we won't get that.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, that's it. Real quick, because a lot of people are saying the Hawaii thing is getting them into like gematria and numbers. We have that course coming soon.
Oh, that course will be dropping Monday.
Yeah, I'll say
We're
Monday.
We're going to drop that Monday by Ani Asori, who worked diligently on his course, and it's advanced.
Yeah.
And so we hearing, we listening, and we're going to put that in there. And he used a lot of real-time examples of things that you can understand. Most of our math, let's just call it what it is. Most of our math is 7th, 8th grade math. Most of us. And if you can't relate math to words, which is a, way to do it, then you really lost.
Yeah.
And so to be able to be armed with the basics, so you can, on your own, in your own time, just lay some stuff out, more and more answers start coming to you. You be like, oh, man, this is crazy. And so I'm looking forward to releasing that for our members as well.
Absolutely.
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
So I saw a New York Post article that said Shannon Sharpe is going to be joining Stephen A. Smith on First Take on Mondays and Tuesdays during the football season. Mondays and Tuesdays during the football season. Is that why they fired all those people?
Because they got to pay Shannon Sharpe.
I don't.
And why only Monday and Tuesday?
Maybe
Does he just want to cover football?
Maybe to try it out.
And keep his schedule open and free to do other things.
Maybe.
He didn't want to commit totally.
That's why I think initially he probably didn't want to quit. I mean, didn't want to commit. That's going from like a real full time. They was waking up at 4 a.m. to get there.
No, absolutely.
Every day to do another job, waking up at 4 a.m. It's basically the same thing. So maybe he wants to just try it, see if he can get like
and his
feel with him and
his
good
full,
chemistry.
Expertise is in football.
That is
obviously
true, too.
being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And so maybe because he wants to control his own destiny now, he can. And so he'll come in Monday and Tuesday. Monday is an important day.
Yeah.
That's after all the games. And then after Monday Night Football,
Right.
which is the game of the week, or used to be.
Somebody said replace the Michael Irvin. That's true too.
Right.
But and it's foul with Michael Irvin. That's foul because there's evidence that he didn't do anything, and they know he didn't do anything.
Well, maybe they know other things. You don't know how this thing really lays out.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever I see Michael Irvin, he look like he on coke.
This
half
is
the damn
true,
time.
but you
God damn
need
it.
that. We need
Yeah,
more.
and then I
We
saw
need that.
him, just being extra and, going crazy with the Cowboys. His lips all chapped and shit. No, I used to do coke, nigga. I know how that shit look. He looked like he came right out the back. Fucking coke up, nigga. Ah! And so now you bring in, come on, Steve.
Yeah.
Come on, Steve. And they can't say, come on, Skip no more.
Yeah.
Come on, Steven. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see how that works out. And again, what are we talking about? We're talking about the leaders in sports entertainment.
Are they anymore?
I say that with, and we devote so much time into watching barbershop talk.
But is it still like that? Like, are they? I know their views have to have dropped. Is it still like that?
Dude, there are a lot of people who wake up and watch that.
I used to be the same way.
No, I get it. I get it. So was I.
Yeah, and I just stopped, and then I was just like,
Yeah, but at the root of it, what is it?
Yeah.
How does it fortify your life to sit around and watch people in the barbershop, unless you're getting a haircut,
yeah,
right? Talk this all day long.
yeah.
How many ways you gonna break down the Jets?
Even though
offensive line.
I would say this: Stephen A. on his own platform, when he goes on a podcast, when he does his own podcast, phenomenal.
Yeah, I think he's better at it.
Like he's better, like on his own, like
because he has a little bit more freedom.
Yes.
He's not as buttoned up as he is.
Yes.
On ESPN. That goes without saying.
This is true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think he's also pivoting and leveraging himself because he's the only heavy lifter over there now, really.
Yeah.
And now Shannon Sharpe comes in partially, and so they're trying to realign. And over on First Take, or Undisputed, should I say, you have Sherman.
Yes.
Edwards.
No, what's his name?
Richard Sherman. And Rachel Nichols.
She's good.
She's good as a way to mediate, and she'll have probably a bigger role.
Yeah, the Shannon Sharpe, he really, really screwed
Yes, he
Skip.
did.
And when this happened, like when I read this, I was like, okay, like he definitely had beef with Skip, but he held it down for months.
I have to.
Because we was getting at him. We was
I
like,
have
yo,
to
dude.
applaud him not getting in his emotions and walking off the set and not coming back. He looked that man in his face and he knew that day right there, this is over.
Yeah.
And he waited and he screwed him lovely because Skip has never been off this long. So he's left and they did not anticipate him leaving, and it made Skip irrelevant, and Skip will have to now fight back to gain people's. Now there are always going to be 85% of the population who love to watch this stuff, and they have nothing to do with their time. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
He played chess, not checkers.
Absolutely, because
So kudos to him in that sense.
I was so disappointed. I'm like, you coming back, dude? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But okay, that's dope.
Yeah. Very dope.
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
So this is more of a local story, but I thought it was interesting and a precursor for where things can go. So in the MTA in New York City, apparently they're using AI to track fare in certain train stations. So like this one girl, she was on TikTok. She said that she had a bunch of bags. She was going to the train. Train was coming. She didn't have time to get her, Metro card and stuff out to go through. Somebody just opened the door for her, so she went in. She got on the train. A few minutes later, she saw an alert that she was charged the fare by MTA because they're using AI facial recognition plus the information you got in your card to know if you trying to get in and out.
Wow.
So this comes, this lends to a bigger conversation about AI and how connected everything will be.
Yes.
And how it goes into the digital money. It goes into all of the stuff. Now we know where you are. Those stores, those Amazon stores that you can walk in, just get anything you want.
Yes.
And just walk out without actually having to go to a teller because we know what you got. We know based on
Absolutely.
the barcode, based on your card, based on all of that stuff.
And that's the precursor because the MTA is losing millions and millions of dollars a year on fare evasion.
Yeah, but they
even if you don't have
crazy to me.
Even if you don't have a card, right? Now they'll probably send you a bill in the mail.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Saying, listen, sort of like the Easy Pass.
The Easy Pass, yeah.
You don't need the Easy Pass.
Yeah.
You can just drive now.
Yeah.
And it'll go, all right, well, that is your car.
Yeah, and because you jumped, you have to terms that, and that is 2 points deducted off your social credit score.
That is 2 points deducted off your social credit score. And with that being said, with the Amazon sidewalk
that's crazy
action
too.
and what they're doing, my Wi-Fi only covers 500 feet. My neighbors covers 500 feet. Their neighbors covers 500 feet. What it creates is an actual web that you cannot escape. Ring doorbells, this, that, computers. Everything is interconnected now, and you are now officially on the grid, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You are on the grid, so get used to it, because as long as Wi-Fi is on somewhere and you got your phone in your pocket, side note, fellas, the phone in your pocket is draining the air out of your ball sack.
What?
Because of the radiation. It's pulling. And so that's another thing that they are speaking about. They've noticed, impotency or ED because the radiation got to pull water from somewhere. It's a real weird dynamic.
I'm tired of this.
And so, yes, we are on the grid, and this thing is wild. It's time for a commercial break.
It is time for a commercial break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
Don't go nowhere. We'll be back after these messages.
This summertime on Patty Z Radio, each and every Saturday, DJ Z drops some cool summer romance jams from 8 to 10 p.m. London time. Follow at Patty Z Radio on Instagram and Twitter for more info. Patty Z Radio, get lost in music. Patty Z Radio, get lost in music. Patty Z Radio, get lost in music.
Welcome to www.presto.shop, your personalized photo creations. We have everything from hoodies to t-shirts, keychains, mugs, and cups. Our items make great gifts for graduations, birthdays, celebrations, holidays, and so much more. So reach out for any special occasion and send your pictures over, and we can turn it into something beautiful and spectacular. We specialize in everything from rugs, blankets, pillows, cups, and so much more. Contact us today at support@presto.shop.
Hello, wealthy family. This is Chanel, Ascending Infinite Goddess, sending you lots of love and gratitude. Thank you so much for allowing me to continuously connect with you and your spirit team. Know that whether you're receiving guidance and confirmation with an angel oracle card session, or you're having your energy centers realigned with a chakra balancing session, or you're releasing trauma and pressure with a mental healing session, I am here to be of service to you. Visit my website, www.ascendinginfinitegoddess.com, to see all my services and availability, and also visit my YouTube channel, Ascending Infinite Goddess, where I have hundreds of videos for you to follow through and learn more about your spiritual journey. Thank you so much for connecting with me, and until we connect again, one love.
And we're back.
And we are back.
So,
shout out Chanel on the new commercial.
new commercial, yes.
Dropping that new heat. You know?
Yes. So don't forget to support those businesses. We'd appreciate
You have exactly 2 weeks.
Oh, 14 days, yes.
14 days. We are at the 14-day mark of you maintaining this grandfathered in membership
Yes.
of $5 for life, because it goes up September 1, to $10.
Yeah.
And so get in. Side note also, tomorrow I will be on with Professor Griff.
Oh, nice. Okay.
At 7 p.m. we'll send out a blast.
I'll send out the link.
We'll be covering the 50th anniversary, from me and his perspective, and take on, some of the things we've seen, and the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's going on. So tomorrow, 7 p.m., me, Professor Griff.
All right.
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
So another correction from last year. It's not a really correction. We didn't know for sure, but Alex Collins, the football player that passed away at 28, he actually passed away from a motorcycle accident.
Oh, what did we say?
We didn't say anything. We just we kind of assumed it was the thing because of how it was reported. 28 years old, football player. And
but it was from a motorcycle.
Because of so many young athlete deaths that have been happening, we just kind of assumed. We didn't say for sure, but it came out motorcycle accident.
So we put out the real information.
Yes, I'm trying to.
Yeah, we gotta stay corrected.
Yes.
So he died from a motorcycle accident. After having heart issues in which he couldn't control a motorcycle. No, I'm only kidding.
Funny.
So yeah, our condolences out to him. Young player, motorcycles are dangerous, man. I know they're liberating, and I always wanted to get one, but nah.
Yeah.
I'm too scary.
And then you couldn't get the 3-wheel joint. That's corny.
No, I thought about the 3-wheel being safe.
Yeah, that's corny, man. You can't.
They would be looking at me like,
yeah.
So, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
So, there are more Trump indictments.
More Trump indictments.
More
He's
Trump
going
indictments.
to jail. He going to Yale.
So this is from Georgia. They said that. They said that he will have a mugshot. We will be doing our job, how we would arrest anybody. He has until August 25th, I think, to turn himself in.
Yeah, and then they want to begin the process on September 4th, which is the day before the primaries or something. So
listen, here's the thing. I was listening to somebody who read through all 96 pages of the actual indictments, and apparently what the guy said was, even the DA said that what Trump did in itself wasn't illegal. But because he said it with a bunch of other people, that they're trying to connect it as a criminal organization and turn it into a RICO charge.
Oh, so they swinging for the fences.
They're swinging for the fences. And then a lot of people said that the fact that they are not, all of these DAs that are against him are not honing in on one case that they can probably get him on, and they keep throwing anything that sticks, shows that this is a distraction. And a lot of the states that this is happening in didn't realize this either. If you look at the American map, are places he could win. Georgia.
Yeah.
California, like not California,
Florida.
Georgia, Florida. Like these are all places, like the Mar-a-Lago thing. These are all places that that would be key places for him to win.
Yeah. It's all a distraction.
I don't distraction.
Give a shit which one of these assholes win. It has nothing to do with us per se. And They got them 3 black women out there.
In Georgia.
No, the black woman in Georgia, Abram, what's the sister name from here? The black woman name from here who's tried to indict him, and it's another one.
Oh, Letitia, that was
Letitia James.
Yeah.
And somebody else. There's 3 black women who are heading this attack against Trump. Interesting stuff.
And
I hope Giuliani get just
well, you know what's crazy?
indicted just because.
He's in the RICO, and he was the one that made the RICO famous.
I remember.
They're locking up all the mob bosses in New York.
I remember. How ironic
That is
is that?
ironic.
So
That
I
is
just want
ironic.
him to go down just because. The rest of it, we're gonna pay attention to it.
And listen, this all and Fox News did. I saw this. Fox News did a breakdown that every time more information comes out about Biden, Joe Biden or Hunter, a Trump indictment comes a few days.
Comes with it. So
a few days
again,
later. So
you're being played on both sides.
yes, just pay attention to it.
Just pay attention.
Right. Also, more Biden news. I thought this was funny. So Biden apparently has been. This is when he was a vice president. He was using a pseudonym, Robert L. Peters, when emailing his son's business associates and using it to schedule secret calls with the president of Ukraine. And the use of that name prevented discovery of these messages under the Freedom of Information Act. So when people were looking up this information, looking for Joe Biden, they didn't find anything. And they when they looked up Robert L. Peters,
because that was his
pseudonym, they found a
rep.
lot. Oh, snap.
Did you get it? That
Yes.
was his rep.
So I expect more Trump charges.
Expect more Trump charges.
I expect more Trump charges to be coming. But yeah, listen, and I was talking to my friends about this. Right, like we said, every one of these politicians are corrupt. You sent me something the other day, and it was he was just saying like, why do you care, right? Because Trump, as much as people want to defend Trump, he was in office during the lockdowns. He promoted the lockdowns. He promoted Operation Warp Speed to get the jabs out to people faster. And again, when he was in office, the Democrats said, who would take that? That was rushed out. Why would you take that? As soon as he left, it was all good. So what you're seeing is theater. You're seeing
theater at its best.
You're seeing theater at its best. You're seeing, I have to be against him because he's on the other side. That's all you're seeing.
Yeah.
But in actuality, when one is in office, they have to take these sides. So I personally believe if the Republicans were in power right now, not the same things would be happening because I don't think we'd be
But
in
something
it.
similar.
But I just think we'd still be in a position to where we could criticize the government for something stupid that they were doing.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
personal opinion.
And the David Fink or Bill Fink is the man you should be watching.
This is the guy from BlackRock, yes.
This is the guy from BlackRock.
Yes,
who probably
absolutely.
runs the physical world as we know it today.
Absolutely.
Okay, but they got you worrying about who the next selected president is
So
going
him
to be.
and Jamie Dimon, the guy from CEO of JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Those two guys.
The real movers
They're
and
the
shakers.
ones who move because when the Fed needed help on how to get rid of some of its debts to make some of its, they went to Jamie Dimon. He
Yes.
said, "Please figure this out for me."
Yes.
And he was like,
Yes.
all right.
Absolutely. So
Like
that's
he
what's
was
going
hanging
on.
up on the I gotta
Yeah.
deal with y'all. I gotta help y'all out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Larry Fink, that's his name.
Larry Fink. Thank you so much. I said James Fink or David Fink.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, Fink. Dog and Pony Show.
It is insane. So Ebro tweeted today that he got a call, we don't know from who, that there is from these record executives, there is no priority to sign rap artists.
Right.
That the focus has turned to African music and Latin music.
Yes. If you've been paying attention, the writing has been on the wall.
Yeah.
They have been suppressing any real hip hop because they've usurped all the energy out of that creation. We gave them an offering that lasted 50 years.
Yeah.
It saved the economy. Just think about it.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
How much money through advertising, promotion, mind control, prisons, school systems, products being bought, the whole 9 yards was a gift and offering for us. So we're celebrating our demise. And I said that, and people got in their feelings about it. But what are we really celebrating when we look at 50 years and who the real winners are? Follow the money. Now that there's no more money, they brought back the feminine energy, but on a bad negative vibration of such.
Yeah.
Not a higher frequency to use the feminine energy to birth a next level. This thing is dead. And that doesn't mean there aren't a few artists, because I don't want you do ones with linear minds who think in straight lines. There are always going to be a few artists here and there. I'm talking collectively. The streaming killed it.
Yeah.
1 billion streams and you get a $30,000 check or something real bizarre. It killed it. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you need a corporate sponsorship now, and these corporate sponsorships are managed by a few individuals.
And they control you, and those corporate sponsorships are owned by BlackRock. Oh,
and those corporate sponsorships are owned by BlackRock.
Oh, shit.
And
Crazy.
then, when was the last time you heard something creative? Not, oh, that's a good album. Really embarking on something new. Let me tell you why. What birthed hip-hop? You know what I mean? Certain situations, environment, the timing, what we were going through. All of that birthed us to rebel and use what was at our disposal for everyone is doing well. Or the illusion of doing well, so there's no need, there's no pressure on the diamond, so to speak. And so because there's no pressure on the diamond, we can't create the way they're used to us creating, right? So they need to push us into a corner, so to speak, but this digital world is open up, and now they watching from afar with the African Afro beat sound is
And it's another one called Emma Piano, something like that.
So and the Latin community is huge.
And you know what? What I've been seeing, right? Not Burna Boy, the other one. I forget the guy's name. I think he's from South Africa. But I remember I tweeted something about him, and I got 30,000 retweets because it was in favor of the album. It was a really good album.
Right.
And it's because like they have like the continent rides behind like
yes.
I don't know. I'm ignorant. I'm here in the Bronx. Like I don't know, but it feels like when one kind of like makes it to like America, like the entire continent just kind of rides
behind them because America is still the benchmark.
Emma Piano. Thank you.
You know, it's still the so-called benchmark. And I said this years ago. I said world music is going to take over hip hop,
and that's why Flo Rida,
Drake, so many of these
Pitbull,
guys,
they just said
Beyonce, they all want to be
Neo,
into.
They were just like,
they all want to get into
and piano. Thank you. See, that's
you know, that kind of stuff.
You guys are great.
And so that's what's happening, and the hip hop has run its course because it's negative music. It's talking about women in negative light. It's talking about drugs. It's talking about drive-by shootings. It's talking about crime. It's talking all of these things that we go, okay, that's it. And the world music is talking about having a good time, which is still entertainment. So believe me, follow the money. These executives will always win. Even when you think you're independent by putting your music up on Spotify by yourself, they still cutting you the check. You ain't that independent. If you ain't moving music out your trunk or your car the way you used to, ain't no such thing because you still need the system in some capacity.
Yeah.
And so as Malcolm asked, is 50th anniversary the swan song for hip hop? And perhaps it is.
Sadly,
it is a swan song.
We talked about this on the exclusive as well, but this was after. This was before we saw the Ebro tweet. Actually.
Right. This is before we saw the Ebro tweet, and so it just lines up with that, and I would not be surprised. I mean, what more can an artist say? What more can an artist say?
Yeah.
With a beat and a drum, and you know what I mean? Come on.
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
So, sticking to music, There are people who are upset at a country song by singer Oliver Anthony. It's called Richmond, North of Richmond, right? So Richmond, North of Richmond, Virginia. I'm thinking D.C., politicians, Richmond.
Yeah.
So it was a real, like, they call it a blue-collar anthem, and calling the blue collar anthem means it's a right wing anthem as well. You know how they try to conflate the two.
Yeah.
But he talked about like what's just happening in the government, like what we're seeing in society and things like that. And a lot of people
As a country song?
As a country song, yeah. And a lot of people boycotted, but it reached like number one.
Anyway.
Trending anyway, yeah. And this is after the Try That in a Small Town thing as well. So
country making a move, huh?
Yeah, they're trying.
Okay.
But it speaks to it speaks to the part of the country who don't care about Republican or Democrat. They're just mad, right? They're just upset.
Got you.
They're just like just fed up with what society is giving them, what the news is giving them, what all of that is giving them. So I think that's why it kind of took off so fast.
No, very true. When you get dissatisfied people, you get dissatisfied people in all capacities.
Yeah.
They're like, we're just dissatisfied. And I keep telling y'all, a lot of these trailer park or so-called trailer park individuals, they're patriots. And they don't care who is running. They just know their country has been taken from them.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily your enemy. You deal with them when you have to. But they're telling you, we need to focus on your government first. Then we can get back to kicking each other's ass. And we get locked into a specific victim consciousness where we can't get past that they're trailer park white people trying to also tell you we are in the same boat. We ain't got no money. You ain't got no money.
Yeah, listen. If we collectively, like, really just stop feeding into all the narratives, all of them, we will really see. Like I said before, our politicians should be afraid of us.
Yes.
The fact that they're not, and the fact that they can do whatever, pass whatever bill, and just think that they could just walk to their house.
Yes,
walk
with
to their
no
car,
problem.
and just nothing happens. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Like that, I feel like that is the problem. And then when our politicians who are supposed to be our public service are trying to be celebrities, when you see Eric Adams at parties next to French Montana, like this is what happens, man.
This is what happens. And so, just interesting stuff. Interesting stuff.
You are tuned into the sounds of Urban X.
So I read something and it kind of confused me. I read that Epstein or Obama was one of the two were the middlemen between. I think Obama was Epstein's middleman between him and J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. Interesting stuff.
Right? Like
interesting.
So more, a lot of people are saying, now I think they're trying to press him and Michelle to see like what their connection was with the pedophile
Finally.
ring. And
Finally, we know something is up. A shout out, South O'Neill. Unfortunately, hip hop has reverted back to rebel music as its origins, but folks are getting burnt out about this new age degeneracy in music in general. I can agree with that message. You know what I mean? But the creative, remember, it has to stay creative because the creativity is what opens up the new channels for new vibratory frequencies to come in and out.
So here what I would say. I would say it is rebel music still, but we're being fed on what we need to rebel against.
That is, oh man, drop ball, man.
So is it really rebel music?
Absolutely. Great points.
That's what I would say.
Great point.
That's what I would say. So I have an article. This is from the Leading Report. It says, according to court records made public by the Southern District of New York on Tuesday, disgraced elitist pedophile Jeffrey Epstein introduced Catherine Ruthmler, an attorney for the Obama White House and staffers of J.P. Morgan Chase in 2019. The bank was contacted by Epstein's financial assistant who suggested the lawyer as a client in which the bank accepted despite having previously dropped Epstein as a client because of, quote, red flags.
Wow.
So after serving as Obama's longest-serving White House general counselor, that lawyer went on to take a position of general counsel at Goldman Sachs.
Ooh, there's your connection.
There's your connection.
Ouch. But do people care?
I don't think so.
What do people care about today? It's just what I want to know. Because the things that should piss us off, like you said, to get us riled up, they don't.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think we'll take a commercial break.
Will we take a commercial break now?
Yes, we'll take a commercial break and we'll come back
with Brother Oba. All right.
Tonight, there's growing outrage over this video showing at least 2 police officers in Kenosha, Wisconsin with their guns drawn following 29-year-old Jacob Blake as he walks around the front of a gray SUV. We pause the video after he opens the door with his back to an officer. At least 7 shots can be heard.
Don't think we don't see your pain. I got a real mentality, a better view of reality. If this is life, then I'm battling. Hey, don't think we don't see your pain. I got a real mentality, a better view of reality. If this is life, then I'm battling. I got a real mentality.
Yeah, we at the old world famous Oasis, Alkaline Oasis, out in Brooklyn. And to commemorate 50 years of hip hop, I think it's important that we launch this series speaking about hip hop, its potential, its effect, and all that it has done, or, to our generation. And so, since I'm the elder, I'll open up.
Okay.
But I have 3 different generations of hip hop lovers with me. And so, for 50 years, it's been a long journey, but I also think that it's important that everyone gets a chance to reflect on what hip hop meant to them when you fell in love with hip hop. So, Eli, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
I fell in love with hip hop around 2009, 2008.
Who was the artist for you?
I would say probably Drake or Lil Wayne.
Drake or Lil Wayne. And these are monumental artists still to this day. Malcolm.
I would say, to be honest with you, I think my first was probably DMX. And then I got into Busta Rhymes because of his videos.
Yes.
And then I started watching Cash Money.
Yes.
Lil Wayne, that was my guy for a while. And then I came back to Lil Wayne once he started going on his run. And then I was in the car with Marcus. He was driving me, I think, to football practice, and a Biggie verse came on, and it was the most incredible thing I had ever heard in life. And then I went on my whole Biggie rabbit hole, Eazy-E rabbit hole. So I was kind of everywhere with it. I didn't really have a set person I followed. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So. And Marcus, you being the elder out of the 3.
The first experience I started to fall in love with hip hop was listening to Criss Cross.
Yes.
Jump.
I remember taking you to their
my first concert.
And you wore the clothes backwards. It was real
my first
cool.
concert. That was my first and last concert ever, as far as a music concert. And I had an amazing experience, even though I was sick. But that was a footprint in my hip hop journey. And ever since then, I've always learned to listen to different artists like DMX, Biggie. It took me a while to catch up to Jay-Z because he was so far advanced.
Yes.
But Criss Cross got everything started.
A better view of reality. If this is life, then I'm battling. Real mentality.
And we're back.
And we are back in the mix. You can get the full episode of that if you remember.
Yes.
For $5.
Yes, it's in the membership. The whole thing is available for you guys.
You got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To join up.
probably stays the same for you forever. That's
Forever. You locked in.
Yeah.
And with no further ado,
Yes, we have a fan favorite.
fan favorite, spiritualist,
Our in-house spiritualist. That's
in-house
our guy.
spiritualist, our guide, Brother Obar in the building. What's good, King?
What's good? What's good, Doc?
Man, everything is everything, man. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to hang with us.
Yes, yes.
Now, you know it's nothing, man. You know, I'm an Urban X family member. You heard?
Thank you, thank you.
Now that means so much to us. And so how's things been going? I know you've been relocating, getting yourself situated. How have things been going?
Everything as well, man. I can't complain. You know, every little bit by bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a patient dude, Doc. So I take my time, man. Easy is the way the turtle walks. You feel me? So, I get in where I fit in. You know?
Absolutely. Let me ask you straight up. What do you feel about this Hawaii situation? Do you think something weird going on here?
It's another case of the levees breaking. You know what I'm saying? It's a land grab. That's really what's really going on, is that they trying to, they say us conspiracy people, whatever, but here we in the conspiracy age, and a lot of the things that our elders was telling us is manifesting right now. So you got to look at everything with a side eye, because we constantly been given these narratives, and then 10 years later, and then the reports come out, and then they got a subcommittee, and then we find out they did the shit themselves. So it'd be like, I'm kind of numb to it. I'm jaded by it all. Like my real goal is just get myself to some land and get these chickens and these goats and be really, really off the grid, because it's a surrealism that you just can't wake up from.
Do you feel like it's just we have more information, or do you feel like they're getting just sloppier with what's going on? Because that's what it feels like. I feel like no matter what happens, people could just poke a lot of holes in it immediately. So you think it's people getting like the power is getting sloppy?
We're not proactive anymore. Like you just said, your politicians aren't afraid of you. Like, we sit here and listen to Bill Gates literally tell you how he's gonna thin the herd, and ain't nobody try to do nothing to him. Like, it's at this point, it's the time to eat the rich. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Because these people are trying to depopulate the world so that they could start it over and then create their own narrative. So, it has to be up to us, and people are too content with convenience.
Yes.
And so the convenience will get you, so you become numb. And so, like, that's why I'm not worried about any of these wars and anything like that, because I'm very clear, like, people in China, they like Pornhub and Instagram and all that stuff too. And so they don't want the world to change. You feel me? Like, it's the people at the top that do that. So you got to realize that everybody has gotten used to these modern conveniences, and people don't want to change that. And so, nobody want to be walking around in rubble and buildings and bombs dropping down on them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really try to stay away from it, because they really are people out here handling people. And,
yes.
Those who work for the devil don't necessarily know that they work for the devil. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And let me ask you another question. Do you feel that there is a general awakening? Because what I'm finding is that conversations that I couldn't have 10 years ago with people, I'm able to at least have a conversation with people that I couldn't have before. And so do you think that is overall collective people are waking up, or it's just that it's more information and more people are just tired of the bullshit?
Well, it's like a hole in the curtain. So the hole starts out small, and only a few people can see what's going on inside. And then as everybody starts to reach for the hole gets bigger and bigger, and then everybody don't have to necessarily put their face to the curtain to see that there's a hole in the curtain, and they can see what's going on backstage. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we're at now, because of their ability to monitor us. It also has to work both ways. It got to monitor them. And so we have information coming at us, and we get to debunk and put the puzzles together. Whereas before, you didn't have the internet, so you would have to necessarily be looking in the newspaper, reading these articles, and then clipping them out, keeping up with it. Now the internet is popping all the time, so you can put the pieces together and look at the picture and be like, oh, that's what they're doing.
But let me ask you this too. Does that make your job easier when people come to you and they're trying to connect spiritually because they know that there's something else here? Does that make your job easier when you read or you throw them shells to give them a forecast than perhaps it was in the past?
Nah, I wouldn't say it's easier. Because the shells are the shells. The divination is what it is. It speaks on what it is. It has literally captured what has started from the beginning, and it is moving towards the end. It doesn't necessarily let you see the pages at the end because we ain't there yet. The problem I find is that people say that they're looking for spirituality, and really they're just looking for prosperity and a come up. Right?
Got you.
And so nobody really wants to do, because it's not, like my homeboy used to say, you could be a fly dummy or a wise man that's bummy. Like, it's one or the other. And so we've gotten to a place where people come, and then the other part is everybody thinks that they are Neo in the Matrix. Everybody thinks that all of this stuff is waiting for them to show up, and they're going to save the world, right? And a lot of times, people are looking for distractions as opposed to real solutions, because sometimes the things that you need to change, people don't want to change those things because and this is why the three major religions have been so effective, is because you don't have any accountability, right? So you can be like, I'm gonna be a bad person all my life, and then at the last minute I'm gonna receive Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and then I'm just absolved of everything.
Right.
So people don't really have they come, and what's going on in the world it's always been chaos. The universe is chaos, right? So when I divine, it's never going to change. But what does change is my ability to power up my tools, right? So, like all of this land grab and this food stuff, it affects us because, the people that engage in animal sacrifice, the animals become more and more harder to get. And at the rate you're going, you're not going to be able, it's going to be illegal for you to have animals, right? Because they're trying to necessarily control the food. So it becomes a little bit delicate in terms of how we necessarily continue to, because people think that we just be killing chickens and all that, but there's an actual scientific thing to it.
Right.
It has to do with magnetism. And so the fact that blood has iron in it, when you imbue the icon or the fetish with the blood, it has now been magnetized. And so magnets do one or two things. They repel
or yes.
Right? So you want to either attract the good things in your life and repel the negative things, or vice versa. So when we get to a place where, this is where you hear people like, oh, well, we're beyond having to kill chickens and all that, because they're ignorant to the metaphysics and the physics of it, right? And so they go, oh, we don't need to kill no chickens no more. But in fact, my icons and my tools need to be powered by this blood, because the blood has the iron in it. And so it allows me to charge it up. And so, when people start getting into that, I kind of back off, because, I got some very obtuse ideas. At least, you feel me? Oh, shout out my man A.A. Rashid. This is A.A. Rashid work right here. This is, the Conscious Chiefs Wizard. That's my big brother. I got to always shout him out.
Absolutely. You know how we feel about A.A. Rashid here. Yeah. Now, let me ask you. My grandmother recently made the transition. How long do we allow a settlement or before you create an altar and place something on the altar for her, or is time relative in this scenario? Because I was taught it was at least 40 days before they maybe perhaps get settled in the spirit realm. And is that just a myth? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we usually do one cycle 1 year.
Okay.
Because things change, right? And a lot of it has to do with not saying so. Like in the Spanish in Cuba, they have a word they call defunto, the dead, right? So they won't speak the person's name for a year, and they do this so that you don't call the person or distract them on their mission or their task or whatever. I guess orientation that they have in this new world, right? So you give them about a year for them to settle in, and then we start small and we begin to lift them up bit by bit, like I'm showing in the classes that it starts on the ground and then we lift them up and then we're ascending the person to a higher space so that they can have all of the faculties in order to assist us in this world.
So, speaking of the classes, can you give an overview of what people can expect when they go through, what you taught? Because I was watching some of it, and it was a reiteration of what you wrote in your book, A Glass of Water and a Candle. So, can you give people like a little overview?
Yeah, well, I mean, the book is actually the tutorial. It's the tool that you have. It's the reference or the curriculum, right? And I'm just going through the basic things for people that are neophytes and that are not invested in a spiritual community, right? So things that they could do that are safe for them, that they won't be, calling down no spells and opening up gates and shit like that. So it's literally it's pre-K and kindergarten for the person to begin this journey on spiritualism, right? Because I don't want it to become. It's not academic. This is something that you see very poor people, poor and disenfranchised people hold on to and maintain. And sometimes we get distracted. We think all of the academia is the intelligence, and sometimes we forget that the simple things, have the most impact. Like they used to talk about the simple machines, like the pulley and the incline, right? But man, what would we do without those things, right?
Absolutely.
So, and you can still use these things, those properties or those concepts still work today. So even though we have conveniences, but what happens when the lights go out?
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so when you get to the more advanced classes, or what will be the progression, and of each individual from a neophyte to the more advanced, in which they can direct energy or pull energy into their mix, and is there a telltale for them to know when that time is right to say, okay, I've got this portion of it down. I am now ready, to conjure, wrong word, energy in that mix.
Well, so all right, on the website, on Medina Productions, I got more classes that get a little bit more in depth, right? So this is people's beak to get them an introduction and bring them onto the site to look at some of the other videos that I have, and just talking about to getting a person to understanding the difference between their imagination and phenomena, right? Because you hear a lot of people and they be like, "Oh, spirit is telling me," and I'll be like, "Well, what's the spirit name?" Because there's more dead people than there are living people, right?
Right.
So who you talking? People been dying since the beginning, so there's way more dead than there's living. So when people be like, "Oh, I'm downloading," and I'm like, "All right, these terms, these buzzwords is good, but what are you really doing? How do you have a fail safe or to necessarily check what is the difference between your imagination and the things that are really occurring that have no explanation, right?" And so the classes are giving people very basic things. That's why I'm very clear. I'll be like, "Yo, ain't no spells in here.
Nice.
No rules, right? None of that. This is what very disenfranchised and poor people in the countrysides of Cuba practice, and it has gotten them through several centuries thus far, because they're in a country that, for all intents and purposes, they're just being starved to death, right? There's no reason for there to be an embargo on them, right?
Right.
Like they never. So they're in a very precarious situation. I've watched these people have a certain amount of faith, and it's based on their ability to know when to hold them and when to fold them, right? You got to know when it's time to jump into the jump rope. And so this is what you necessarily heightening your spiritual abilities is about, so that when it is your time, you know to go, right? And you can feel that intuition and you can trust in it because it hasn't failed you. And it's a trial and everything. But like I said, the class, I got the glass of water and the candles on Amazon. People could go there because the book, I didn't write it to go over people's heads. I made it very simple, right?
Yes.
I didn't become an academic piece where people was going to be interpreting it. No, just get right to the meat and potato of the story, right? How do we do this? And in doing that, it gives people an understanding that this thing is not complicated, and the things that you have right in your home, you don't got to go to a spiritual shop, right? Some of the stuff is in the supermarket, right? And one of the major things that I wanted to dispel was the sage thing. Everybody be like sage, right? Like, the sage has different properties, and it's really made to open up portals, and people using it indiscriminately or without any real reference is a shame, because you kind of devalue the effects of things when it becomes a cliche.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
No, dope. Let me ask you, are you familiar with the term soul trap? I've been hearing a lot about the reincarnation process, because I'm hearing even people who work in the trauma units, they say when people are getting ready to die, that their elders show up, but that's not really their elders. These, or ancestors who passed on, and that light you see that you're going toward is like the vagina, with the hospital lights, and now your ass is back down here. Is that myth, or is the reincarnation process, is that how it works, or how do we remove or break that karmic cycle so we don't have to repeat this shit over and over again?
Well, I'm going to say this. I ain't dead, so I don't know.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like, I be really suspicious when people be telling me about what happens with dead people, and I'm like, well, did you die and come back and bring something back with you from the other side? I don't,
Right.
These are concepts and aspects that are given to us for us to comprehend this transition, right? But on a very basic biochemical level, they talk about stem cells and the fact that when you're born, you might have some of your brother's stem cells, your elder brother, because some of his junk DNA was still left in your mom. And so you have these people. So for them to say that that's not real, I mean, again, if you're not going through that experience, I don't know what to tell you. Now, for my own personal experience, I had a bout with depression, a real bad bout with depression. In my early 30s, I was going through a midlife crisis, and I necessarily tried to check out. And in doing so, when they revived me, when I got to the hospital, there was a woman there that she didn't look like my mother, but she favored my mother. And she was really just comforting my ego. Like, sometimes people get weak and they necessarily make bad decisions, but it's okay.
Yes.
And when I got out of there, now understand that I walked out of the hospital without a 7:30 evaluation. That's unheard of. Okay, let's start off with that. I was like, yo, I'm cool. I ain't gonna do it again. I'm getting out of here. And they was like, and everybody could have lost their job. But when I went back to the emergency room to go find the lady to thank her, they were like, there's no lady that fits that description on any shift.
Wow.
Later on, another one of my elders, I was at a drumming, and nobody knew about this situation. It was a real close in-house thing. Nobody knew what had gone down. And I went to the drumming, and I happened to be outside with one of the elders, and she was smoking a cigarette. And I went to help her, and she put her hand in my small of my back. And she started running it down to me, like, yo, you can't do that ever again. Like, you can't try to kill yourself. Django got things for you, and she started just running things down. When we finished this conversation, conversation, I was like, yo, Mama, let me pray for you. What is your religious name? And her religious name was the same as my mother's. So this was evidence for me to understand that through other conduits, these consciousnesses will necessarily try to tap in.
Gotcha.
You understand? Okay, so now that woman that gave that comfort to me, she was passed on as well. And so this is why my company is called Omidina Productions. It's named after my mom's religious name, right? And so, you know, this is evidence. These are things that you hold tight. They're not really to be proven to anybody. They're not to be. These are personal experiences that you undergo, cement and solidify your faith, right? And so they're not to be, oh, and I had this. So I mean, I've had a lot of near-death experiences where things have happened that it was purely phenomenal, right? And there's no way to measure it. It just happened. And we thank, you know, our guides and our protectors for allowing us to, you know what I'm saying, avert that tragedy or that mishap. But it's not to be measured. And so and that goes into one of the things that I talk about in the class is that the altar in Spanish is known as the bóveda. And for a long time, English-speaking people had this word mispronounced. They were saying all kinds of different things. And my godmother explained to me how to pronounce it, bóveda. And that allowed me to go and look the word up. And then looking the word up in its definition, the definition of it means a vault. And so a vault, you put precious things in the vault.
Yes.
And so your altar is your vault, is where you keep your precious things, which are your ancestors, your memories, and those energies that are protecting and nurturing you, right? And so, you know, this is why I wanted to necessarily give people something because, you know, every day you got, you know, some chicks, they get to burning some incense and then they wake up and now they're a witch. And this is our you know what I'm saying? Because things have regulations for a reason, right? There's things that are good and bad about everything. Fire could be good. You need it when you're out in the woods, you need it to keep warm. But then it could be bad, like in the situation in Maui, right?
Yes.
If it's cold, and if it doesn't have regulations and conduits and fail safes for it. And so the same thing with spiritualism. If you think that all the spirits is benevolent and they just all got sitting on mushrooms and eating rainbows with unicorns, you are sadly mistaken, right? The spiritual world is just like 42nd Street in the 80s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Stuff is happening out there.
A lot of shit, yeah.
You could get a deal or you could get a bad deal, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, you know, my aim has always been to necessarily arm my people so that they are able to practice these things intrinsically. It's not a big deal. It's not for you to, you know, like down here in Atlanta, everybody got their beads on and they're outside, and it's like, why are you showcasing what you are? Just be it.
Just be it. Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Where can you be reached? And are we running some kind of OBA Urban X discount if they want to get them advanced classes?
Yeah, well, we're gonna set up a QR code. We already gave up the hip hop ancestry.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because there's a lot of that, you know, like the 50th year, there's a lot of that going on, and there's a lot of misconceptions. As we were talking the other day, Dot, about a lot of the things that people have. And I want to say one of the major ancestors to hip hop that is known has to be Scott La Rock.
Yes.
Right? Scott La Rock is the first person that I ever heard of in rap music that died. But then you go back into people like Black Benji and Puerto Rican Benji, these people that initially suppressed the whole gang culture in New York and allowed, because that's what the whole hip hop thing was about. Before, in the gang culture, you couldn't go to nobody else's neighborhood that you'd get beat up.
That's right.
So hip hop was, you know what I mean, neutralizing the gang so that everybody could party together, right? And so this happens on the at the death of Black Benji from the Bronx. right? And who was really he was the model for what they made Cyrus from and Warriors about.
Yes.
And so it's important if we're going to talk about and try to name hip hop a culture, because it's not really a culture because it has to have a language. See, culture is defined by a language, a belief system, right? And so we have to have a collective belief system and language. But since we're calling this subculture a culture, we might as well have, understand the history of it, right? Before it gets co-opted, right? Because if you turn your head and look away for 1 second, they're going to change the narrative.
Absolutely. That's happening.
They're going to change the narrative.
That is happening.
I also wanted to bring up, and this is for you, Malcolm, this Young Thug thing, the one thing that everybody is missing about this Young Thug case is the fact that the corporation, that the record labels are not on trial with him.
Yes.
The conspiracy case.
I've been saying, oh my gosh.
Makes money off the criminal enterprise is subject to prosecution.
Yes.
So Leo and Kevin Lyles should be sitting right there next to him as co-defendants.
Yep.
And why they're now trying to get out of hip hop, because I think their legal departments are saying this is going to be a problem for us in the future if we continue to put this music out, knowing what they're rapping about, because now we're in concert with it.
We're in concert.
And we're profiting from it, right? And so it's important that people because I say things on my Instagram sometimes to see where people, what they pay attention to. And I said something about Andre 3000 and it went right over people's heads because they was like, oh, Andre. And I was like, nah, it's not about Andre. It's about the fact that the music is being prosecuted and those who are being prosecuted are not being prosecuted with their co-defendants.
Yes.
Right? 300 and the rest of those corporations should all be under indictment because they knew what these young boys were doing. Right?
I thought the same thing with Murder Inc. When they cut that check to Supreme for $1 million to start his movie deal, then they should have been complicit in everything that came with that.
Absolutely, because that's money laundering.
Yep.
Been saying that.
You know what I'm saying?
Completely right.
We get too much into, we have to start off with our morality first, man. What is right and wrong first?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to have a base of that. I ain't have no issue with the Montgomery thing, but are you going to do that if you see them doing that to another person of a different hue or a different ethnicity? If you see wrong is wrong.
Our people are not ready for that because the victim consciousness won't allow them to get out of their own way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what you're talking about is advanced. It should be basic, but it's advanced because we're coming from so much pain, so much trauma, and so much victimhood that we can't see what right is right and wrong is wrong, regardless of where it's coming from.
Yeah, we've normalized criminality.
Absolutely.
We've normalized it and made it like that's a part of our creed and our customs, and that's not. And so right is right and wrong is wrong. I put up a post and I was talking about the fact that, people talk about the God and the devil, right? But remember that the devil loves God the most, right? And people who break the rules because they have to are different than those who break the rules because they want to. And those who are going to break the rules because they want to and they're going to dance with the devil, understand that the devil is God's bag man. He coming to collect. He going to do that dance. But at the end, he going to ask for his, for his toll. And so people, they get into this mode about we supposed to act a certain way. No, when I was young and I was involved in criminality, I was very clear that I was breaking the law, and there's no reason that I should necessarily justify what I was doing. Right. There's no way I could justify it to my grandmother.
Right.
You understand? It is what it is. I'm not going to ask for a reprieve about it. I understand that, and once I advance above that mentality, now I'm responsible to continue and do the right thing. Like, there's many days that I be wanting to knock one of these little heads off, but I can't because how would I look? Because then I would have to look at the brown woman in the face and her son, regardless of whatever his circumstances is and how dissonant he may be, I still participated in that, and so I have to take the high road. You know what I mean? And I call it the Karate Man. Karate Man he's always cool, right? Karate Man, they know that this is gonna go bad for you at the end of the situation.
Right.
So I be like Karate Man. Like, all right, man, you know, it is what it is because I have to be the one to take the burden because I know what's right.
And with that being said, Brother Abba, we thank you for those jewels being dropped.
Thank you for the contribution to our little masterclass academy that we have building.
And we put his information, his website up, and you guys can log on to get those advanced classes. And my brother, we talk to you soon.
Absolutely. I just want to give a shout out and a prayer to my man Bowser the dog. You know what I mean? May Bowser necessarily be, you know what I mean? The whole Mama Dot, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Real talk.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Dope. So, as you saw, that was Brother Oba, and like we said before, we have he has, I think it's 5 videos in there.
Yes.
In the membership right now, if you go into the Urban X University section. So really, really, really dope. Go check it out. And for the person,
Side note, Bowser's doing bad.
Yeah, I know.
And so I looked at him today, and so appreciate that blessing.
That was
appreciate that blessing.
Facts. So no, Bowser's not going. He's still here.
No, he's still here.
Still here.
But he's old, man. He's not going. He's just old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
I even had to kick him like, you
yeah. You all right over there? Yeah. So like we said, we have those classes in the membership. It's $5. Go in there and begin a process of nothing spooky, no spells, no sorcery.
Glass of water.
Just a glass of water,
and
candle on an altar. And thanking the ones who came before you because we are all connected.
Absolutely.
And you'd be surprised on the help you are receiving from around you, you know what I mean, and those who are conspiring to ensure your safety here. Because the only reason you exist is because you exist at this moment.
And for the people who are worried, we're not doing interviews all the time.
No. Listen, guys. We're just trying to interview some individuals who have made a contribution to the classes so you can at least get a better understanding of what the classes are.
Yes. That's
relax. And we always do it after the second segment so you get all what you came for. You have to see that as bonus information of just something that's in there for you to digest.
So we'll take 2 questions before we get out of here.
Yeah, make them quick because I am beat.
Yeah, Pops is tired.
My ribs hurt.
Yes.
I'm here working under adverse conditions.
All right, real quick. So while you get Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen, they're getting married. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, love is love, man. You know, he meets her, she meets him. Scottie Pippen's ex-wife and Michael Jordan's son have found love.
That was crazy.
Malcolm.
Crazy.
You know, she's marrying into a very rich family.
Yeah.
That is true.
Did she still get Scotty's pension?
She's going to get Scotty's pension, too.
Damn.
So, yeah, that's a good look. That's a good look for him.
Jeez.
Or her. Yep.
Take some more stuff. Take some more questions. Somebody said that why was the audio bad at the hip hop celebration? You talking about Yankee Stadium or?
Yeah, which one are you talking about? Yankee Stadium? Wasn't bad on YouTube channel. It sounded pretty good to us.
Somebody said, Malcolm, how do you feel knowing the Bronx is Idaho and Wyoming? I don't know what that means. Jay Nightmare. Write that again. I didn't.
Will you do a Hulk this weekend? No. Just gonna be honest with you. No.
We got an exclusive
Black
coming.
Dot, do you think the decline of hip hop coincides with the R&B? Well, I think they use hip hop to kill R&B. R&B was love music at its core.
No, R&B was singers. They try to be singing rappers.
Yeah, they tried that. That was the amalgamation of the two. But at its root, R&B music was love music.
Yeah.
Spiritual love music. And what they try to do, they try to catch on a wave with the sales of hip hop. Jody Watley and Rakim did the song together, which is one of the original ones, and the merging. And then hip hop just took over, you know what I'm saying? Or rap took over, not hip hop. And now to get an R&B album almost sounds strange, like 100% just R&B pouring out your soul to a man or woman, and which is still the highest vibration on the planet.
Malcolm, there's a Bronx in Idaho and Wyoming. Did not know that.
Oh, just found out I'm going to be a dad.
Hey,
that's
what?
what I'm talking about.
Congrats, welcome.
All right, well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we talking about, man.
Welcome.
The Urban X Baby Nation. Keep growing.
Go to Oba's website that we just had up, and I think he definitely still does readings as well.
Oh, no, you can get a reading. Yeah, he'll definitely hook you up.
There's a Bronx in Columbia, too. What the hell? I thought we were unique. Somebody said R&B stations used to diss rap music in the 80s. Oh, okay.
They did.
Okay.
They did.
Should we fear mosquitoes?
Yeah, you should.
Yo, have you guys been seeing those little red, in New York City, those red bugs that's flying around?
I haven't seen them.
Oh, yeah. You seen them?
Oh.
Yeah, they're not butterflies. They're like moths. Like, I don't know what the hell. They're not butterflies, though. Yeah. You're supposed to kill those.
You supposed to kill them?
I think that's what I heard. I've been killing them.
Oh, okay.
I've been killing them.
Yeah.
That's funny. AI Baby's coming soon. Yes, there's a movie coming out with Emilia Clarke from the Game of Thrones. It's called like Pods or Pod Babies or something like that. And it's about like her not like her husband wants a natural baby. She just said like, no, let's just grow the baby and let's get the pod. And you wear it on like a harness and stuff like that. Yeah, go check it out. I saw the preview. I didn't watch it yet. I don't think it came out.
Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. All right, so with that being said, guys.
With that being said, we appreciate you for another week of Urban X podcast, broadcast, live streams. If you're listening right now, we appreciate you too.
We do.
As well.
We do.
Don't forget to give us a rating and review if you're listening. If you're watching right now, don't forget to hit the like button before you get up out of here. We'd appreciate it. Don't forget to visit. Are you
going to be in Tyreek's Hip Hop Dot? No. The reason why is because there are still hundreds of real historians and the ones who bear witness to the culture from its inception. And I think this is a time for them to have their story told. I deal more with the metaphysical aspect, and it's not really that kind of a documentary. And so I believe what he's doing, he's made his treks to the Bronx, and he's interviewing the right people. I was only 10 years old when I was introduced to hip-hop. It had started 10 years before that in the Bronx. And so to get to the source will make his documentary more powerful and more accurate. So I think that is the most important aspect.
Yes, and don't forget to visit shopurbanx.com.
Please visit shopurbanx.com.
And if you are not a member yet, what are you waiting for? It's $5 a month.
Yeah.
16 cents a day.
Can't beat it.
To get some of this extra stuff. And you see what Brother Obaj dropped. He's dropping more in there in the membership. Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it.
All right, with that being said, peace.
Peace.